In this video, I want to talk about 5 of the biggest lesson planning mistakes I see newer teachers make. Now, don't worry, if you're doing one or even all 5 of these things, it doesn't mean you're a bad teacher. It just means that you need to learn a better way of doing things. Oh, but before we go any further, hi there, I'm Janelle Lawrence. I have been teaching middle school social studies for the past 9 years. I work in the South Bronx, so I have my own unique challenges, but I think I can be very helpful. So, anyways, let's move on. So, the first mistake I'm seeing is that a lot of people are lesson planning to impress adults instead of the students. Of course, I feel like lesson plans should follow a format and they should have everything that they need. If you watch one of my previous videos, I speak about the 8 things every lesson plan needs. Of course, you should have all that in your lessons, right? Especially as a middle school teacher. However, when you're planning, you have to plan with the students in mind. All right, I like to put a student-friendly learning objective up there so that students understand what they're working for and it's attainable for them. So when you're planning, make sure everything is attainable for them. Not just, oh, we're doing science of reading, so I have to jam that in there. You're planning for your students. Also, you cannot overly plan too many activities. If you're like me and only have 45 minutes, realistically, I can get 2, maybe 3 activities done in a lesson. Don't overpack it because then now you're stressing yourself and your students to try and get everything fit into that limited time. The next big mistake I see is trying to teach everything in one period. Hey, I'm guilty of that. In my first year, I'm thinking, okay, this is the content I have to get through all this. Like right now in social studies, we're talking about women in colonial America. Imagine if I wanted to talk about coverture law, intersectionality between African Americans and whites and Native Americans. You can't teach everything in one period. Don't jam pack it. All right, pace yourself. You also it makes you rush through your content, right? If you're rushing to the content and students are not learning. And I saw this a lot in my first year when I was overpacking, where because I overpacked and students couldn't get everything, then the next day I'm reteaching the same content and the same content and the same content. And it's like, girl, if you would have slowed down, if you wouldn't have packed so much, then they would have gotten more, along with not putting too many activities in one lesson. The next big mistake I see is over planning every minute. Now, what happens if students arrive from their last class late, or if something is wrong with the smart board, or they can't get into their Chromebooks if you have these technology, and you've overpacked that lesson, planning out every detail, just being off by 3, 4, 5 minutes can throw off your lesson. In my lesson plans, I do have lesson plans for those who want middle school lesson plans and TPT, and I put like the time in for each of my lessons, but I put wiggle rooms. If I say my entry activity is supposed to last 7 minutes, that's the wiggle room because I really want it to last 5, but with transitions. So you need to put those things, build those things into your lessons. I like timing out my lessons so I know where I should be at certain times, but you cannot overstuff them you cannot overstuff them or overplan them. So mistake number 4 is planning without a clear end goal. Students need a clear end goal so that they know what they're working towards, but also you as a teacher, if you don't know what you expect what you expect your students to know by the end of the period or by the end of the unit, then you realize you're just planning haphazardly. As a first year teacher, that was one of my biggest issues. One day I had them, oh, we're going to look at the central idea of this. The next day we're going to compare 2 different documents. And it's like, what was my end goal? Why am I jumping from activities? Why am I confusing my students? And then the 5th mistake I see, the 5th biggest mistake, is planning alone in survival mode. You should not be planning alone. That leads to late night, constant self-doubt. Like planning alone makes lesson planning difficult. Lesson planning became a lot easier when me and my coworker, we started going after school on Fridays and we would end up at Where we would go? We went to Whole Foods and we'll sit down and we'll plan together because at that time there were only two social studies teachers. That's why I taught sixth and seventh grade, and then she taught seventh and eighth grade. I taught three sixth grade, two seventh grade. She taught one seventh grade, three eighth grade social studies. So we plan together. We decide like our activities together. Yes, this is a lot of after school hours, and I know a lot of teachers don't want to go more than their contract hours, but as a first year teacher, that's what we needed because our preps, we had them, but our preps were sweeping up the mess because classroom management wasn't the best, fixing bulletin boards and just doing those things that we needed that. Now, you don't always have to, you don't have to work alone. At my school now, currently, we have common planning where I can work with my colleagues and we can discuss. I also did a lot of going to other departments, especially the ELA teacher. The sixth grade ELA teacher was my saving grace because I did not know how to teach those literacy stuff, right? How do I teach someone how to find a central idea? How do I teach a student? What were some of the things they were doing? Finding the theme. First of all, what is the theme? Like, oh my God, that's where I struggled in ELA. So went to her, got a lot of help, on planning. So don't do it on your own. Now, I also had a mentor. Um, but if you have all that and you still need more, I do have a free guide that can help you with this. I also love the plan. So if you reach out to me, write me a comment and I can help you maybe come up with ideas in your classroom, especially as a social studies teacher. But I help everybody. I am a school leader. What do you call me? A peer collaborative leader. So I help everybody. But yes, don't do it on your own. I hate to see new teachers struggle and they don't reach out to help for help. Oh, so being a good teacher doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. But these are 5 fixable mistakes. Continue watching this channel and I will help you. I also have a free guide. You download it, you can print it out. I love my tablet, so I just put it in the tablet, but it goes over all these things. All right, so let me go to the front. It's called the New Teacher Lesson Planning Survival Guides, and it gives you tips and tricks to help you become a more effective teacher. So there's a QR code here, or if it's easier for you, there's a link in the description bar section below. So again, if you are a new teacher struggling with lesson planning and you're making one or all of these mistakes, reach out to me. I can help you. Keep watching the channel, subscribe to the channel because I want to go over ways that we can fix all those things. Thank you for watching and bye.